Yeah.
Hey, you're 16.
Yeah. I wanted to get my eyebrow pierced, and my parents are, like, really against it, and they said they'd kick me out if I did, and I just wanted to know what I'd do, you know, to make them understand me.
Maybe wait till you're 18.
Yeah, and I asked my dad, I said, Dad, what if I wait until I'm 18? He said, well, you'll be in college, and then I'll cut off your tuition pay.
Well, there you go. They're pretty clear anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, this is life, by the way.
You don't think there's any hope?
Your employer will be the next person to take similar kinds of positions.
Yeah.
You put a bone through your nose, I'll fire you.
Yeah, say the program director, I want to show up drunk.
Yeah, we'll fire you.
Can fire you.
Yeah. Well, I love the show.
Well, thanks, but sorry we can't make it easier, but that's the parents' job, unfortunately. And it's because that's the way life is, and they're there to sort of represent society. So.
I'll tell you, the thing that sucks in life, there's two things that I've noticed. The big joke is by the time you can do whatever it is you want to do to yourself,
you don't
pay for it.
You don't want to do it anymore.
And no one, and there's no one who can stop you. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, I've been wanting this for like a couple years now.
It's probably better in that stage anyway, that sort of wanting to do it stage.
The other crappy part is all that junk you didn't get when you were a kid that you swore you'd buy when you're older. Like, I always said the first $300 I get's going to a remote control airplane. 34 now, make plenty of money. Still don't have the plane. Not interested.
No time for it. How would you...
I could do it, but the point is I want a real airplane now. Whatever. I want something else I can't afford.
Please.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up, I would say, fairly deprived when it comes to gifts and things like that. I mean, I always wanted a mini bike. I never got a mini bike. Always wanted a go-kart. And then I wanted a dirt bike. Then I wanted a remote control plane. I always wanted all that junk. And all I got was like a crappy Huffy. I got the Silver Shadow.
Pieces of it.
Well, no. No, I did get the whole crappy Huffy.
Oh, I see.
But it was a Huffy.
So I
wanted the Schwinn. The point is I always said, whenever I made a few bucks, I go get all that fun junk I never had. I don't get it now.
You do that, though. It just has a different form. I'll see yours is your Huffy, your Schwinn bike.
It's like pornography and lawn furniture.
That's right. That's your Schwinn bike.
That's my Schwinn? I got the Schwinn of VCRs. All right. Phone number for Loveline, 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. I'm Ace Rockola. That is Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew, board-certified physician, addiction medicine specialist. A little bit later on, a guy by the name of Otis Celery. Who the hell knows if this is the real guy's name? But he gave me a piece of email, or I guess Lisa lifted me a piece of email. And a couple of nights ago when I was talking about some of the new show ideas I had for the fall lineup.
He wants to do it.
He has some ideas here himself. And pretty good. Pretty good. I'll read you just one. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
A couple adopts 6 Chinese and 6 Japanese kids. Hey, these things are good. And then I'll explain the saga and the plight of the Man Show, the ABC pilot.
You feel as though you can actually speak about it now.
Well, I didn't want to speak about it for a couple of days. I wanted to make sure everyone came out with their schedules and everything, and I didn't want to piss off people because they're still making some decisions.
But now
you know how that goes.
Yeah.
No, I'm still not going to piss them off.
Yeah.
Mildly. Okay. The real wrath will come in a couple of weeks if we don't make the if we don't make the replacement series. Bill.
Yeah.
You're 24.
I am.
What's going on?
Well, I'm in college and I'm in a biology class, and there's this cute-looking redhead that sits a couple desks behind me, and a cute-looking brunette who sits a couple desks to the side of me, and I'm married and the brunette's married, but I just have those thoughts in my mind of a total threesome.
Well, you're 24.
I am.
That's why people don't get married when they're 24.
That's why what?
Well, listen, you have those you can be married at 44 and still have those thoughts.
Yeah, but at 24, they're a little more intense, don't you think?
Right.
Yeah, you may tend to want to act on them more at 24.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. You never get any one of these 2 chicks anyway.
That's true, of course.
Well, I can always try for the redhead because she's not married. So.
You're married. How long have you been married?
About a year and a half.
Do you have kids?
None.
Why'd you get married?
Well, most people, same reason probably. They think they're in love. And just tired of being single. And
tired of being single at 22?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
You've walked that long, lonesome road for so long. Your feet were starting to hurt.
Yeah, they're getting tired.
I'll tell your wife to dye her hair red and hump her.
You have no business screwing around right now. It's gonna mess your mind.
Yeah, you shouldn't screw around for another year or so.
May never recover.
Bill.
You don't think I could get away with it? I mean, there's people that do.
We know.
Yeah, you can get away with it. Ultimately, you don't get away with anything, though. Because you're just a cheater. And then you know it. And that's just what you become.
Well, your relationship suffers in ways that may be subtle and may not be obvious now, but in the long term, there will be consequences. You can't get away with things in life. You know, we haven't really talked about this.
Not really.
I mean, there's always some consequence. It comes around some way, somehow.
Well, people people think of it, and I think it's more this culture. Like, the reason, Eastern cultures or other cultures in the world do a little better than us sometimes when it comes to moral issues, I believe, is they sort of believe that they have to answer to themselves. We just figure we got to answer to the law or to our wife.
To an afterlife and things, and to a future life that they may screw up if they screw up now.
Right. And it kind of keeps them in line.
Yeah.
We just figure as long as we can not get busted by a DA or ATF agent or a wife, we're scot-free. Eventually, they catch you. But before they catch you, you're sort of living with it yourself.
And think about the fact there are people that get away with things, but those are the people who really don't give a rat's ass about other people.
Yeah.
And there's a consequence for that, too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're one of the people that just gets away with stuff, yeah, there may not be a direct consequence, but being that kind of person has its own consequences.
Yeah. Well, you just are that. You're a thief, or you're a liar, or you're a adulterer, whatever it is. You just become that.
Yeah, but only a certain kind of personality structure really can do that.
Right.
Not care about it.
Yeah. And you have to have the a-hole gene. But ultimately, you will get busted by the man anyway.
Yeah?
You don't get away with stuff that long. I mean, you can rob banks and you can get away with it for 10 years, but you will get caught. Or you can do whatever, but you will get caught.
Or not, or you have to live in a cave somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is a delightful consequence.
Kevin.
Yes.
You're 24.
Yes. Basically, my problem is that when I'm awake and everything's fine. I've been married for 2.5 years, and I haven't had any real problems in our marriage.
Another 22-year-old marriage.
Right.
24, 2 years married, yeah. But when I go to sleep, probably for about the last, 3 to 4 months or so, I've just been having really bizarre dreams, and they range from anywhere from that I'm divorced to the fact that I'm back in high school because I started dating my wife when we were in high school, and I'd be like back in high school and we'd broken up, or I'm having an affair with either somebody that I went to that I haven't seen in 10 years, or with somebody that I've never seen in my life. It's it's really kind of bizarre.
I dreamt I went out and tore apart my tool shed. That's what I dreamt today. I dreamt I was taking a nap. I went out to my tool shed. Something was done to it that I didn't like, and I destroyed it with a hammer. What the hell is that about? I think I'd come up with something better than that.
I have bizarre dreams on a regular basis.
No kidding.
I wouldn't make anything specific out of all that unless you're having some other sorts of feelings become attached to that.
Well, maybe they are, and that's why you're telling us about the dream.
Maybe they're coming out and it bothers him.
About my wife.
Well, you put it this way, Kevin. You can have a dream, let's say, you can have a dream that you kill somebody.
Right.
But if you wake up and you don't feel it at all.
Right.
And it feels like it was just out of left field, then it doesn't really bother you.
Exactly.
But if you feel like you're starting to get pissed off at some of the people you're working with.
It either means something or it doesn't mean something. It may really mean something, or it may not. It may just mean that you're angry with your wife, or that that you're having some biological changes right now that made you think about other people.
Yeah, but I'm saying the fact that he's talking to us about it means something.
It started off where originally I just kind of blew it off because, like I said, I've always been kind of a dreamer. I dream all the time, and I just kind of blew it off as it's just a weird dream. But it started becoming reoccurring, and then it just started, like I said, it ranges from anywhere from going, like I said, we've been married for 2.5 years, and it's going back to I'm in high school again, All
right, well, first thing first, don't tell your wife about it.
Right.
They don't understand that kind of honesty.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell anybody I know about it because I don't,
Women are always talking about wanting you to open up, they want to hear your feelings, they want you to share. Not really. Here's what the caveat. They want you to share the good stuff. They don't want you to share the honest feelings. Oh, boy, my girlfriend got pissed off the other day. I was telling her. I was explaining our theory. And she's mad at you, too, by the way. The theory about, you know, you get closer to marriage as you get older as a guy. As a guy, it's more of a, almost like a biological event.
A place in your life, yeah.
In a time and a place in your life, more than it is the person.
I agree with that. I mean,
I know you agree to it, but don't tell a girl that.
Well, no, it all has to also be, the person has to be right also. But it's like, it's more that it's a requisite. You can't even think about marriage before you hit that point.
Right. But they don't hear that part.
Yeah.
And then I made the mistake of saying, you know, I've had a few girlfriends, and...
You are Mr. Silky Smooth.
Such an idiot.
So
you know, I promise, I think I'm on the radio when I'm talking to my girlfriend. I'm trying to be entertaining. That's such a disaster. And women have, they have minds, they have memories like elephants.
So, you've had a few girlfriends.
You know, why can't we, how come women are so crappy at math, yet they can recite a chapter and verse, things you said when you were drunk 11 years ago? You know what I mean?
It's memory function. It's
and
not
here's
calculation.
My only defense is me saying, that doesn't sound like something I would say, but they use the verbiage that is so right on, you know, it came out of your mouth. I said, you know, Drew and I were talking about, you know, when a man gets married, and it's more the time and place that he is in his life, and it's not, you know, you could be with Mrs. Right when you're 22, but
it's impossible.
It would have been impossible. Yeah. I was not ready to get married at that time, although if I was with that person at 37, I would really be probably ready to go.
Right.
The problem is I sort of kept going with it and said, you know, I've had a few girlfriends, and
any one of them would have been fine. If I just been in the right
That
place.
was kind of the problem, yeah. That was a disaster. It was a horrible idea. I didn't really mean it that way, but I was trying to illustrate my point.
Oh, she's so pissed at you, she had to get pissed at me.
She's pissed at you.
It spilled over. It just,
well, she figures you're filling my head with these ideas. Drew and his sorcery over here. All right, I think she's over it. But, you know, once in a while, then they just, pow, bring it right on back up.
It'll stutter for a while.
Oh, yes. Kathy. Uh-oh.
Kathy?
Looks like Kathy hung up there. Sorry. Lisa.
Yeah.
You're 24.
Yes.
What's going on?
Okay, well, before I tell you this, I want to tell you about yesterday. I've been trying to get through. And I kept being busy, so finally, you know, someone picks up and they're like, can I help you? And I tell them, well, this is really embarrassing for me, but I've had anal sex, and since I've been bleeding, I'm wondering, you know, if this has to do with it.
Is Culver City PD out here to hear this, by the way?
And the man was like, I see. And I was like, well, I was wondering if it was severe or not. He goes, well, I don't know if I can help you there. And I was like, why not? Because I think you might have the wrong number.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was so embarrassed.
Oh, my gosh.
You picture a woman in her 70s smoking with like one of those hairnets on, sitting in front of the TV, with hee-haw in the background.
I mean, he's probably...
Hold on. Hey, young lady's got some rectal bleeding. Is that your niece, Jenny Ann? Is that you, sweetheart?
Oh, my God. Did you just hang the phone up?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, my God, this isn't Loveline.
Oh.
And he was like, no, this is such and
Lisa
such
needs some kind of Lisa needs some kind of an award or something for that.
Yeah. All right. So has the bleeding subsided?
Well, sometimes it comes and sometimes it's not, and I just don't understand why, you know, and I can't stop it.
First off, Lisa, let me tell you, this is not an appropriate question for the homework hotline.
Oh, wow.
No.
Well, look, that's one of the things that concerns me when people engage in these activities. You can tear things, you can create hemorrhoids, you can do all kinds of things. And, you know, it happens. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are permanently damaged, but it's certainly not something that is consistent with health.
I tried to find my anus the other night, Drew.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. You know, you got my head all filled up with those worms. You know, Drew has me convinced that there's worms that crawl out of my ass every night before I go to bed.
Gross.
Because my ass always itches right before I go to bed.
Oh, I heard about that.
Boy.
You got to take some, like, pills or something.
I don't think I have these worms, but I swear to God, I started freaking out the other night.
Of course you have.
I had a glass of wine when I got home. My ass started itching,
That's
and I
very
said,
common.
I'm gonna hold my ass up to the mirror and see if I can find these worms.
I mean, you got to take tape and put some tape on it.
Do you understand that I would rather get my fingernails pulled out with pliers than put tape in that region, Drew?
Right.
Do you understand? The point is I held my ass up to the mirror and I was trying to find it. And I couldn't find it. Does it look like Cousin Ed? That was it. It was like Tiny Tim.
Lisa, wait. Lisa needs some kind of an award or some sort of some sort of compensation for the trauma she's been through here.
All right. Did he wear a condom?
No. Once.
Oh, once?
That would be smart to do that too.
Yeah.
Right? All right. Seriously, I mean, that's the way to get sexually transmitted diseases.
So what could she have? Should she see somebody?
Yeah, I think so.
Could she wait a couple more days?
You know, 24-year-old, you don't worry about tumors and that sort of thing.
How long ago did this happen?
Like 7 months.
I don't know if I bring up.
Whoa.
Hang on a second. I bring up
7 months.
It happened 7 months ago, or over 7 months it's been happening.
Well, it happened 7 months ago, and then it happens periodically, like maybe once or twice a month.
Yeah, it's probably hemorrhoids. But listen,
is this a husband?
Boyfriend.
But I mean, are you engaging in this activity a couple times a month?
Of course, not anymore.
Oh, okay. So it may not. That's probably not from that.
Probably got it going. The point is
because that's when it started happening. Was afterwards.
Hey, but listen, I don't bring this point up enough that rectal cancer, anal cancer, has been highly associated with genital warts. So if people engage in these activities, they have the wart virus. They're putting people at risk for cancer when they're much older.
Okay.
So, Lisa, it's probably nothing. I would suggest you see somebody. You can see your gynecologist when you have a pap smear. Have it checked out. Sorry you were traumatized. Glad you got through.
You're supposed to put tape against your anus to see if the worms stick to it?
Yes.
I'm not going to do that. I'll eat some tape, and then when I pass it, see if anything's stuck to it.
Yeah, you can do that. But you have to sort of unroll it and swallow it all down. Get a big, long strand that way. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to see if I can find my anus. Drew, you want to help?
No, thanks.
We'll be back.
Loveline's phone number.
Hey there, kiddies. It's a Loveline. Phone number, 1-800-LOVE-191. Forget about the fax number. Madam Carolla, that is Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew is outside of the studio, as you can so often find him, chatting it up with a Culver City Police Department representative. Let me tell you about this place, Culver City. That's where we do the show out of. It's quite a bustling little metropolis. It used to be a real dump, but they've fixed it up a little bit over the last couple of years. And actually, I think the way they were able to finance a lot of the infrastructure that's went on over here is money that they gathered either doing parking tickets or arrows. Now, let me explain. For those of you who live in small cities or just uncorrupt cities. Ooh. They have arrows here in Culver City. As a matter of fact, I went and looked up Culver. Culver means arrow in Latin, as it turns out. I didn't know if you knew that, Dooley. But they have an arrow for everything here. And you can't turn left unless the arrow is green. Now, most places that have an arrow at a light, well, the thing turns green when it's time to turn, and then it turns off, and you can just proceed like a normal human being as if there was no arrow at all. You know, when the thing turns yellow, you make your left-hand turn. Not in Culver City. The arrow will turn red, and you can spend, a good 2/3 of your adult life sitting in Culver City at a light where the light is green, and there's no traffic coming in either direction for miles to come, but you will sit there waiting to be carjacked with a red arrow in front of you. And I imagine there's many a man who just gets tired of it and turns, and then they swoop down like condors and have a ticket riding party. But anyway, Drew's out there with one of Culver City's finest, filing a report because Drew has himself a stalker. And she actually came by the studio tonight to say hi.
It's a pretty serious mess out there.
It is.
Yeah.
You talked to the Culver City gent?
Yeah.
Well, they have like 3 cops for every civvy in this city.
You want to bring them in?
No.
They're nice guys. I
know they're nice guys, but after my little arrow montage, I'm scared he may draw his piece. You'd be a witness.
Just one look at you. You probably have a joint in your pocket or something, don't you? You do.
Please. I got a kilo in the trunk of my car.
You look like the GD zigzag man tonight.
Please. I haven't been pulled over in years, knock on wood. Or laminated counter, as it were. All right, Drew, did you make your Did you make your report?
They're still
You
working
file
on
the
it.
report?
They're still working on it, but yeah.
I'll tell you, I got to give it to them. LAPD, you call them up
3 hours.
3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours.
These guys are filing an emergency restraining order for me. This is tremendous.
LAPD will arrive on the scene in 3 hours or less if they hear gunshots in the background, and if whoever the assailant is grabs the phone away from you and starts yelling something about being the angel of death. Even then, I believe it's only one stop at the Burger King before they show up to that scene. But if it's something like this, I mean, there's not enough show. You'd be gone before they showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Culver City, when did you call these guys?
5 minutes ago.
And look at them. They're here in 3 minutes. God bless you. Well, they're probably out writing you a ticket out in the parking lot or something anyway. And just
Well, hell, I mean, they with all those stoplights, those left turn, the whole town side up at intersections, they got they have a pretty decent amount of time with that.
That is the greatest racket in the world, this Culver City and these arrows. You will not find more arrows per square foot of highway in any other city in this fine country of ours. On Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. You know why? Because I believe other
most countries
cities
don't have electricity to handle that. The power source to handle all those lights.
They had to build a dam up the Colorado River so that Culver City could power the effing arrows in all their stop signs.
Yes.
God bless them. Oh,
most of
I did LSD 50 times in 2 years.
Please, the man is here. You understand? Now's not the time to come clean.
You seem to be in a much better mood tonight. You're sort of back.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was me, but I think it was you.
No,
for a couple
wasn't.
days. Yeah,
you say that crap once in a while, just a gaslight.
No,
fine.
a friend of mine actually brought up, said, "Oh, Adam sounds kind of depressed." I thought, yeah, he wasn't quite. I thought it was me or both of us. Maybe it might have been both of us. For about 3 days there, we just were off.
Same boner, different jizz?
Yes, that's right. Thanks.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think I was just as funny as ever.
Not to say not funny.
Oh, okay. Matt?
Yeah.
You're 17.
Right.
I'm back, baby.
Hey, you guys are great.
Thank you.
You guys have only been here for like, I guess a few months, but I've been listening to you ever since because you guys just rock.
Where's here?
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys actually have like a big cult following here now. All us little Loveline groupies get together and we're like, hey, guess what I heard on Loveline last night?
No, that's what I love.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I was actually calling because I guess 10 months ago or so, I had my first sexual experience, which was like effing stupid, as you would say, Adam. But
why? What'd you do?
No condom.
Right, and
okay.
I was drunk as hell, and I really didn't want to do it, and I guess somehow I did, but afterwards I was just like, man, you're stupid, and I haven't ever since, and I don't.
Who was the person? Who was the person?
I didn't know her well. I met her that night.
At a bar or something, or party?
Party.
Okay.
At a church social, Drew.
Yeah.
And
that's about how it is here, but
how old a gal is she?
I think she was about 19, and I was 16.
You had any symptoms since?
No, I haven't had any symptoms. I just got my results back from my AIDS test because I knew it took like 6 months.
Good.
And I didn't want to, go too early or anything, but I just got them back,
I'm sure
and they came out negative.
Sure.
But I was wondering if there's any other diseases that don't have any symptoms that I should get tested for.
For men, it's relatively unusual.
You'd know it
Yeah,
by now,
men,
wouldn't you?
you could have wart and not know it, and the dermatologist could test for that. What they do is they put a sort of acetic acid actually on their penis and shine a black light on it, and that will turn up these pre-wart lesions.
Well, see, a lot of guys would be deterred just by the words acid and penis.
Yeah, I understand, but,
you understand?
But Matt is a determined young man.
Yeah, but it's acid like citric acid or something.
Like vinegar acid.
Right.
About warts, Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
I was wondering, when I was a kid, like before I had any sexual experience, I mean, I guess I'd started masturbating by then, but 11 or 12, something like that. I did have a wart on my penis, I think.
No, that was your penis. You were 11, remember?
Probably not.
But
pretty unlikely.
It went away, and I was just wondering what that could be.
I'm not sure.
Well, couldn't you get warts on your hands when you're a kid?
Yeah, and
couldn't you transfer that?
Potentially, some they theorize, but
it never seems to happen.
Yeah, I see. I don't want to comment about that because that's not really known.
Okay.
All right, Matt, you're fine.
But yeah, you can harbor certain like trichomonas, and you can harbor Yeah, potentially herpes. Not, but the vast majority of situations you would know it if you had something. All right.
Okay.
So relax. You've done your work.
I'm sure the young lass was a virgin anyway and clean as a whistle.
Oh no, from what I hear, she wasn't.
Really?
Because I met her through a friend. Because that night I just went crazy and I was like, I want to get laid. Because I was drunk as hell. And they said, hey, we've got somebody, and it was this girl from New Orleans, and from what she told me, she was pretty much a slut, and,
All right, Matt, here's the point. You lost your virginity.
Right.
And your penis is none the worse for wear. So you're fine.
True enough. Can I just say something to, like, all your dumb callers?
Yeah.
Why are you going out and having sex? You don't need to be. You're young. And I'm not a religious guy, but I just, wait till you have a monogamous partner or something, because it's just way too scary.
Right. This is coming from Matt, the guy who had 14 wine coolers and nailed this hoe from the Big Easy.
Right. Right.
It's quite a powerful message she's sending. Yes, all right, Drew is chatting it up with producer Ann over there, still regarding the legal proceedings. Here's the situation. Drew has himself a honest-to-God stalker, and it's not one of those movies of the week stalkers. This is a real-life stalker. I mean, she's a gal who's
colorful.
And probably a little bit disturbed. I don't know what she does for a living. I haven't heard much about her.
Well, it's been going on for a while.
Keep me abreast of the situation.
It's been going on for a while.
How long's it been going on?
8 months.
What'd she do? Start sending you pictures and things?
Yeah, we always just thought we sort of felt sorry for her, really. And then now she's here.
Right. Yeah, she came out. Came to the studio.
I'll tell you what, the original communications were pretty substantial threats against my family.
They were?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, at the very beginning, and then they became much more benign.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Does she want to take out the family so she could take their place?
Uh-huh.
She want to be with you?
Yeah,
but that wouldn't last.
You don't think so?
I might give it 6 months.
All right, thanks, Adam.
I mean, what was she saying? She's saying she wanted to get rid of the wife and the kids?
Oh, yeah.
And then she was going to be the new Mrs. Drew?
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, we all know if anything happens to the wife and the kids, I'm the next Mrs. Drew. What is this with Drew and all these women? What the hell is going on with that? And by the way, that whole thing where, women love a sense of humor? Please. Drew had the sense of humor sucked out of him. He had it eradicated. His parents hooked a Hoover upright up to him when he was 4.5 months old, and they sucked any semblance of a sense of humor out of him, but yet women go nuts. If Tyra Banks were stalking you that way, though, you'd be all right with it, wouldn't you, Drew?
No.
No.
Not with anybody.
Oh, really? Oh, all right. You'd give her a little more leeway, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Karen.
Hello.
Hey, you're 49.
Yes, I am.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What's going on?
You attracted to Drew?
I've never seen him.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. Well, what do you picture him looking like?
I don't know. I have no clue.
Well, you listen to the radio, you hear the voice. You don't put it, you don't sort of put a picture to it?
It seems like he's really nice looking, but then so do you, and I love your sense of humor.
Oh, really?
There you go.
That's right, baby.
So, Karen, what's your question?
Well, it's kind of two questions. About 15 years ago, I was up camping with a bunch of friends, and I guess I had a seizure. I'll get up in the morning and go up to the campfire, and next thing I know, I'm laying in the back of a pickup truck, bouncing down a dirt road. My friends tell me it's okay. We phone the Forest Service. They're sending a helicopter to take you into Evanston, and I was just wondering if something like that could happen again.
Of course.
I haven't had any since, and
once you have, I don't know what the cause of your seizure was, but a seizure disorder is a recurrent problem.
Yeah, but it's 15 years ago.
Were you drinking at the time?
A couple of beers maybe the night before, but that's it.
But were you generally drinking heavily?
No,
Maybe she just got hold of some bad Canadian bacon or something. Those camping trips. People don't clean out the frying pan.
Did you have a CAT scan or MRI at that time?
Yeah, I did, and I don't remember what the results were. And they put me on some kind of drug, but I took it for a couple of weeks, and then I quit because I had a weird rash, and I'd never been to the doctor about it or anything.
Basically, once you have a seizure, you need to stay on seizure medication, possibly the rest of your life.
That was 15 years ago, though.
She's done okay since then. You really need some more information about what caused this seizure. I mean, something caused it. Seizures don't occur in people in their late 30s spontaneously for no reason.
Well, they gave her a CAT scan MRI, so they were convinced something happened.
Oh, yeah.
But it came up negative, I guess.
Well, but unless there's something structurally wrong with the brain, that's not the only thing that causes a seizure. I mean, I ain't got to worry about, I mean, cocaine is a common cause of seizure, alcohol, common cause of seizure.
That was 15 years ago. She's fine.
She was okay. I mean, she hasn't had any recurrences, but again, it is something that needs to be evaluated. She needs to see a type of doctor called a neurologist, and there's lots of different anti-seizure medication to choose from these days, and I strongly urge you to have this more completely worked up, because you could be driving down the road and have another seizure.
And run into Drew. Or better yet, Drew Stocker. I want to read you another potential TV show that Brian Wood came up with. He went ahead and emailed me some of these ideas I was talking about. It was about 3 or 4 days ago. I think I was giving some ideas to the networks about possible replacement series for Seinfeld, or just stuff for the new fall series, new fall season, I should say. And I read you, what was it, 6 of one, half dozen of the other, about the Asian family.
Yeah.
Here's one called Chips and Salsa. As a California Highway Patrol officer teams up with a sexy female agent of the Mexican police.
Imagine that.
Picture that. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Didn't I read on the...
Together they fight sweatshops, drug traffic, and abuse of illegal immigrants.
There you go.
Very timely.
Someone will pick that up.
It really will.
Didn't I see one on there where we could pair up with the Car Talk guys?
No, that was just an aside at the end. He wanted them on as guests. But here's one more. Raising a Ruckus. This one's long. Brian Dennehy stars as an ex-cop who lost all his money in a crooked real estate deal and is forced to become the warden of a St. Regis school for troubled youth. I think it's more like a principal. At the end of the first season, the bad kids help him get his money back, and then he must choose whether to stay. A very special episode. It'll be very special.
Very indeed.
I forgot to work in some special episodes to mine. All right, there's a couple more of those going. Let's just relax over there, Drew. Come on, you were here for half a break this time. Can you sit down? George.
Yeah.
You're 23.
Yep.
What's going on?
I got a kind of a little problem. My girlfriend, she wants to go to my high school reunion. It's a 5-year reunion, and she's 5 years younger than me. And
so she'll already be there, right? I mean, she'll just be getting out of 6th period, and you'll show up in a tuxedo.
Yeah. But I don't know. He
doesn't want her to go. You don't want her to go.
You're a little embarrassed.
No, not embarrassed. She's laughing right now. She can hear you guys. Anyways,
you just want to have a good time by yourself with your old friends.
Yeah, well, it's not really that. They're my friends. She doesn't really know any of them.
I can understand.
All right, that's good. Hold on a second. We got to go to break. I will explain why men don't want their women to go to the reunion with them, and then men don't want to go to the women's reunion with them. But women would not dream of letting their man go alone to his reunion. Drew, you ever go to your reunion?
Mine?
Yeah.
Wife came with me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She was there with probably a team, like a recon team, getting names and information. What'd you see, ma'am? Anything? Do you recognize this man? Showing him your picture from 10th grade. Oh, she got every gory detail on what you did in high school. We'll be back.
You have 5 seconds.
It's Loveline. Phone number for Loveline. 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Hey, it's Rockola over here. Dr. Drew over there.
I had some email here.
You did?
Quick question for you. I'm worried. This is from Don. I'm worried that I have esophageal stricture. I have difficulty swallowing food. It seems to get stuck in the middle of my chest about 5 out of 8 times. I really do not want to have surgery to correct this. If it is simply narrowing, that can be corrected without surgery. You know, when people get food sticking in the middle of their chest, that's actually a very serious symptom. There can be tumors in the esophagus. There can be something called achalasia.
I mean, has everyone had that before?
Yeah, where it really hurts and sticks.
Feels like it feels like it's a cross between someone punching you there and something being inside.
But this guy's saying 5 out of 8 times that he swallows. He can tell stuff's hanging up there, and it's not obstructed yet. He doesn't barf it back up, and things still go through. But in a 29-year-old, that's a very unusual symptom.
Well, how does that happen?
Well, lots of different ways. One, if it's an older person with a lot of tobacco and alcohol in their history, cancer until proven otherwise. Esophagitis, just an inflammation of the lining of the esophagus.
That was my porn name.
Where it meets the stomach can cause a stricturing there. There's a more congenital thing called achalasia of the cardia. It's narrowing. And the point is, these things can be done non-surgically. This is something they stick, just the way your friend had a urethral dilatation.
Right.
They stuck graduated cylinders up there. They can do the same thing in the
Well,
esophagus.
they basically take something shaped like a chopstick, which is narrow at one end and gradually gets thicker toward the other end, and they push it up there and they essentially ream it out.
They basically do that with the esophagus, too. But it needs a diagnosis first. Food sticking in the chest is not a diagnosis thing. He needs to find out what's causing that.
Well, maybe he's just eating a lot of, saltines and peanut butter. Huh?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Is this George we're talking to?
Yeah, you're going to tell us everything about males and reunions.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's get George on the line.
Okay.
George?
Yeah.
All right.
George is 23. His girlfriend is 18. He's got a 5-year reunion coming up. I never had a 5-year reunion in my high school. We had a 10-year.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either. Yeah, 5
But here's the thing about a 5-year. Here's what goes on with a 5-year reunion. Hey, Bob, remember me? Yeah, of course I remember you, a-hole. I just saw you. Yeah. What are you doing? Nothing. Still living at home? Great. All right, see you in 5 years. Fine. Nothing happens in 5 years. People are barely graduating college. Okay. You still get an early fix on who the losers are going to be, and some guys will start putting on weight and losing hair, so it is kind of fun to watch that happen. But it really hits home at 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys that are practically bald, and guys who look like who's the guy who played Cannon? Robert Conrad. I mean, guys who went from like captain of the gymnastics team to looking like Robert Conrad, just bald and fat and squinting. The fatter you get, the more squinting you do, Drew. I think your cheeks get fat and it closes your eyes. Or maybe your eyelids start to gain weight and they just can't keep up anymore.
They got to put the fat somewhere.
Remember Robert Conrad? Always looked like he was squinting.
Is that his name?
Was that Robert Conrad? Yeah, I think it was Robert Conrad.
That sounds like the guy from Wild Wild West.
No, that's Bob Conrad. Who called himself. Wait a minute. Go find out who Cannon was. William Conrad?
There you go.
Thank you. Robert Conrad, yeah, was the guy when it knocked the battery off his shoulder. Okay. George?
Yeah.
So anyway, women want to come with you because they want to know what went on. And they want to make sure that you're not hooking up with any old loves.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she just don't trust me with,
They want to investigate. Plus, they like to get dressed up and go out to things anyway.
Well, but they also are concerned that you're embarrassed. That means you don't not as into them as you profess to be. You're not ready to declare your involvement with them, with your lifetime friends.
Right.
And they don't have any empathy for your need just to get together with your friends and hang loose a little bit. To be
I'm
yourself.
Just wondering if I'm like being unreasonable or if
No, I don't think you are. I really don't.
But you're not being unreasonable because it's the way you feel.
Well, none of that. It's not like you're 35 and going to your 20th anniversary with somebody you've been dating for 5 years.
I just don't think she'll have a good time. And if let's say I just went somewhere with like some friends, let's say outside or something, I left her inside, she'd think I was like ignoring her.
George, I am right with you 110% on this one.
Even I am.
Even Pussy Drew is. Because, and this is what makes me a bad boyfriend. Most events, I think of bringing a date or girlfriend or a significant other to most events as sort of troublesome.
Or ending the event, ending the fun, huh?
Well, it depends what it is. I mean, if it's an event where it's some sort of cocktail party and everyone's going to be there with their wife or girlfriend or whatever, fine. But if it's something like a concert even, I feel like I'm going to have to introduce them to everybody, and then I can't remember anyone's name, so it's going to make it kind of awkward. Plus, I'll always get tugged in 100 different directions, and then I'll end up worrying about them.
Right.
And then what tends to happen is they get a little pissed off, so they sulk a little bit, and then they go somewhere.
You spend the rest of the night looking for them.
Then you look for them, and then you find them, and then they've had a couple of drinks, and they're a little bit pissed off, and then you get in a little argument, and you're talking too loud, and the people are starting to look, and then you say to yourself, look, please, I don't want to start anything. I don't want any trouble. Let's just enjoy ourselves. And then they say, we'll talk when we get home. Now the rest of the evening is ruined because you know you're going to get this talk when you get home. There's just certain things. Now, there's two types of guys. There's the kind of guy who wants his woman there with him, whatever he does. He's going in for a prostate check. He wants his woman there holding his hand. He's going anywhere. He wants his partner there by his side.
I'm more in that camp, but even I.
In the gay camp?
No, even I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Camp gayness?
In terms of wanting to be alone.
Right. And then there are guys who just look at it as, listen, I'm going to have a good time anyway. And all this could be potential trouble. And George is right here. He's going to see all his old buddies. They're going to have some laughs. They're going to drink a few beers. They're going to dance a little. He's going to have a great time. Potentially, she could go see one of his old girlfriends, or one of his buddies could get loaded and start talking about what a ladies' man he was in high school.
That's it.
And the whole thing could be screwed.
Yeah.
On the other hand, men don't want to go to a woman's reunion. I mean, there's nothing that sounds more arduous and more painful. You might as well go to some quilting class with them on the fun scale. Fantastic. Your 10-year reunion.
Can't wait.
We get to follow you around.
I think Susan's 20s this
that's painful.
Summer.
And you know you have to go. See, I don't want to go. You trust them. Oh, she's going to get together with some old boyfriend.
Yeah, but they want you to go.
I know they want you to go. I don't want to go. Bill.
Hey.
You're 37.
Yeah.
It's very ironic. As a matter of fact, guys get screwed both ways. If you think about the whole reunion thing, it's a double screwing.
Yeah.
It's double penetration.
They lose either way.
You got something in your ass and in your mouth, if you think about it, because you got to go to theirs that you don't want to go, and they got to go to yours that you want them to stay home for.
Right.
Beautiful. Bill?
Hi.
What's going on?
Well, about 7 years ago in the San Francisco area, they had an outbreak of what was called itchy butt syndrome.
Oh, for crying out loud.
That could be me.
They attributed it to too much nickel in the water. Too much nickel in people's diet.
Yeah, but Bill, there's a whole...
No, I just ate a roll of nickels.
There's something called pruritus ani, which it just means the Adam Carolla syndrome. And
in other words, it's just too nasty for words.
It's caused by lots of different things. And in nickel, and probably the lowest down the list of possibilities would be excessive nickel ingestions.
Really? That's what happened in Frisco. I got a water filter at my house, so I don't know how much nickel I'm taking in.
Are you still having problems with your dog?
Well, no, not really.
Well, if you don't feed it, it won't crap.
Oh, really?
You guys take it easy.
All right, Bill. I don't want to break Bill's heart and tell him the dog died, what was it, a month and a half ago now?
At least. Well, if anybody missed that, you haven't talked about it except that one night. So anyway,
really?
That night.
Yeah, my dog died. Very sad. Very sad. Thinking about getting a new one. Actually, I just want to...
we got to get you a different breed.
Really?
That's not your breed.
A German Shepherd? Why not?
Because you need something that trains easier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
German Shepherds don't train easily?
They're pretty self-willed, yeah.
No, I'm bad because I can't even train myself. I have no discipline.
That's the point.
The thing with dogs is it takes consistency, and I have none of that. I get bored real fast. I just want to have a good time, you know. Sarah, you're 23.
Yes.
What's going on?
Well, I'm in Minnesota, and I heard you speaking about non-surgical abortions with methotrexate and misoprostol.
Right.
I had one of those abortions, and I was just calling to I thought maybe you guys would want some more information about it.
Sure, how'd it go?
Maybe other people would.
How'd it go for you?
I actually didn't have a great experience, but I was involved in a study. I was one of the only people that didn't do so well.
What happened?
I had excessive bleeding, so I lost a lot of blood.
So they had to do a DNC anyway on you?
Yeah. I was
What's
one of
the
the
DNC?
That's where they go in and scrape out the uterus.
No. What's the D and the C stand for?
Dilatation and curettage. Curet is like a big...
Let me explain.
Curet is the barbecue instrument you talked about.
Let me explain something to you medical folks. Curettage, man, that sounds like a European yogurt.
A dance.
Maybe it sounds like a nail treatment. Oh, what'd you get? Did you get the French dip? No, the curettage. Ooh, that's lovely. Where is that? That's wonderful. Who's your woman? Curettage is not a good word for taking something off the barbecue and ramming it up the crotch of a woman. That should not be called something. That should be called like the crank and wham or something. Then not the curettage. Curettage really does sound like a yogurt with
cram and scrape.
Well, it sounds like something with fruit on the bottom. Hey, I have the curettage. I like to turn mine over so the fruit's on the top.
Oh, for God. Anyway, Sarah, let's talk.
Will there be anything for dessert? Yes, I'll have the creme brulee, and the lady will have the curettage.
But Sarah, and it's not that widely utilized that I can see.
Right. Well, it's not approved by the FDA.
Oh, it has not been approved. I didn't realize that. Well, that's why it's not being used.
It can only be used in studies. So
I see.
that's why it's not widely used yet.
Well, it's out in the literature. I mean, I've read about it a number of times, so I'm sure there are doctors that do it.
How many women participated in the study group?
I think it was about 500.
Wow.
And I suspect the reason it's not been approved is the issue of, what are we doing here with renewed other methods of abortion?
I think the other issue, too, is with pharmaceutical companies, as it is with IU486, because they're concerned about being protested.
Or liable, too, for any problems.
Yeah, for any problems, exactly. So, and a lot of pro-life people have...
Yeah, but wait a minute. Every drug has a potential side effect and could create potential problems.
This also has a moral dilemma.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's the problem.
It's interesting. What do you feel about the moral dilemma?
I think I have a sort of scientific point of view. I think it's just divided cells at that point. So I think that people should use their time a little more wisely and maybe...
You didn't have any sort of reaction? You didn't feel a sense of loss or anything like that?
I did, but I sort of felt more relief. And I've sort of found a way to distinguish between grief and regret. That sort of thing.
I think most women feel sort of a grief reaction, frankly.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that, but our society tries to, or a lot of people who are against abortion.
All right. Let's just finish off this abortion thing. Drew is anti-abortion. I'm pro-abortion. And here's my feeling. I don't believe in people make arguments for RU486. They don't want to make abortion any more convenient, any easier. They're scared that this is going to lead to people taking an even more casual approach to their sexual encounters. But it's sort of like the death penalty doesn't really deter homicides because homicides are done in the heat of the moment.
But it does.
No, not really.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
That's the same people that said 3 strikes and you're out doesn't do anything, and you've seen crime go down in response to that.
No, statistics don't show that the death penalty lowers homicides. But I am all for killing these guys. Don't get me wrong. So they won't get out and do it again. And most homicides are done by guys that are drunk. They walk in, their wife's getting banged away by on their buddy, and they shoot them. I mean, it's a lot of heat of the moment stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People are aware there's birth control. People are aware there's you can get an abortion, yet they go out and get pregnant anyway because they're 16, they're dumb, and they're drunk. And I don't believe that knowing that it would be more convenient would lead to them doing it anymore. They're not doing it anyway.
Well, look at this. In Southern California...
I mean, using protection.
Some of the country may not be aware that there was a baby dug up along the trail of a jogging path here in Pasadena, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was alive. And the baby's been resuscitated, and they're trying to find these parents. But some people are looking at the child as the mother's body. It's my body. It's part of me.
Right.
What difference does it make if it's inside the uterus or outside? It's my choice. Do what they want with it.
Yeah, the umbilical cord was still attached.
Yes. Oh, it's still part of me. Abortion laws tell me that's my body, my thing. Now,
listen, are you kidding? If this person would have, if we would have had this goddamn RU486, she would have taken the pill 8 months ago and not had to go bury her kid on a trail, you idiot. You're making my argument.
No, I understand. And I'm not trying to make a firm argument. I'm just trying to query as to whether or not these sorts of behavior is a result of the casual attitude we're developing about a developing fetus in utero. I don't know. Right. But it bothers me that might be the case.
Here's what you do. You convince people to use protection, to use birth control, to not take intercourse so casually, and then you educate them, and then they don't have these unwanted kids. But first, you have to abort about half the nation, because the ones that should have been aborted are the ones that are getting knocked up when they're 15.
Yeah.
Do you understand that concept?
No, listen.
Then we'd live in a utopia.
From a utilitarian standpoint, I actually agree with you. From a philosophical standpoint,
and let me explain who's more important. Me, you, Ann, and whoever else is listening at this point Our lives are more valuable than someone who's 6 weeks old or 5 or even 4 months old. I'm talking about still being in the womb after conception.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This person is the person that's liable to come up and kill you eventually, the one that should have been aborted. We got to start cleaning up this nation. There's no doubt about it. They talk about education. They talk about getting tough on crime. Ultimately, they talk about getting tough on drugs. You want to get rid of anything, you have to stop the people who are doing it and who want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to stop crime? You can't have more cops. That slows it down a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. There's a cop right there. This guy, if we could clone this guy right here, that would put an end to crime. I'm saying, you want to stop crime, you have to stop having criminals.
I understand. And you got to start having a screwed up family.
You can slow it down, but stop having these screwed up families that are raising criminals.
No, I listen.
You want to stop? You want to stop drugs being brought into this country? Stop having so many damn drug addicts in this country.
Why don't we just start holding parents accountable for their kids' behaviors?
That's fine with me.
I think that's the first step.
All right. I'm all for retroactive abortion, where we go back and kill people in their 20s, who I decide should have been aborted many years ago in the 70s. Think that's a good idea, Drew? Listen, let's get this RU-486. Let's put it in the drinking water. That's what I say. Kiana.
Yeah?
Along with the nickel, so they can get the itchy butt syndrome. You're 26.
I was diagnosed, or not diagnosed, but I was told by a doctor 6 years ago that I had herpes. And since then, I haven't had any signs of it at all whatsoever.
Have you had the same partner since then?
No.
You've had different partners? And nobody else has complained about anything? Maybe they were wrong. Herpes is a difficult diagnosis to make. It is primarily a clinical diagnosis, and so there's plenty of times that it's missed, and there's plenty of times that it's overdiagnosed. So one of the hallmarks that doctors will look for is, are there recurrences, and does your partner have something? So if neither of those things are happening, it does reduce the probability that that's what you have.
Plus, the other thing I was thinking about real fast here, Drew.
Yeah.
I was watching the news tonight, and some idiots in Florida were dumping acid in abortion clinics in the mail slot, trying to, I love these people. The sanctity of life is so precious to them that they can dump acid
on somebody else.
On adults, right? And I was thinking to myself, hey, I'd be real, Drew, let me give you a quick scenario, and think how pissed you'd be. You're, I'm not going to use your daughter. You should always get pissed at that stuff. But a good friend of yours, they get pregnant, and they don't want it. They're not ready to start a family. They just entered college, an Ivy League school. I know you like that, Drew. And there's and they're going to be a doctor, and they're not going to have a child. So they want to get an abortion. So they're a month pregnant, but they got to go down to the clinic. While they're in the clinic, their timing is so bad that it's right as one of these wackos pulls up in a pickup truck, blows up the clinic, and it kills them. Now, they could have taken the RU-486 from the safety and privacy and dignity of their own home. But we had to drag them out to the clinic, and they happened to be there when it blew up.
If we're going to
Wouldn't you be outraged? Would you be outraged,
yes,
Drew?
Because if we're going to have abortions, they might as well be the safest way possible. Yeah,
that's right.
We're either going to do this, or we aren't. I kind of agree with you that way, but I'm not clear that we should be doing it. And
if you're going to make it legal, let's make it safe and easy.
I agree with you. I mean, it shows how ambivalent we are as a culture about the moral implications of this thing.
Yeah, I don't really think it's the culture at large. I think it's a smallish percentage relative.
No.
It's not more than half. It's way less than half that are against this. Way less. So why are they dictating to us?
Because they have a good argument.
No.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Oh, the arguments are very compelling against it.
Please. Who cares what? This is a democracy.
Because it's a legal issue. And so you go and argue these things, the arguments are quite substantial.
Listen,
here's
the reality. It's a bunch of old religious males that are in power, and they don't give a rat's hiney about women, and they cast judgment on them. And if this was a pill that helped guys out, they'd get it passed much quicker, obviously.
You've never read Roe versus Wade. I mean, it's a pretty weak position. It really is. I mean, it's not a bad one, it's kind of weak.
Listen.
So the people trying to make these rational arguments, it's hard to make them in favor of it. That's why it's
all right, listen, all you wackos. Make abortion illegal, good. Have a bunch of mongrels coming around. I hope they kill you. All right. Pedro.
Hey.
How you doing?
What's going on there, Tedro? You're 23.
Not much. Let me preface my question by saying I spent the last 36 hours in a holding cell, and would like to stop the behavior that got me there.
What happened?
What is smoking weed on a daily basis since 1993.
It's hard to stop that.
Yeah, easier said than done, you know?
Why'd that land you in the clink?
I got pulled over for actually quite an interesting thing about looking at a cop. I was traveling 20 in a 15-mile-an-hour zone, and he pulled me over because I was looking at him funny, which is quite interesting.
Well, there's a joint hanging out of your mouth. That was the problem.
Not really. At the time, I didn't have any on.
He said you were looking at him funny?
Yeah, he said, well, I was kind of staring at him because I had warrants out, so.
Oh.
And you were stoned?
No, I wasn't at the time. I was actually just coming back from a job interview, so.
Why do you have warrants out?
For smoking at the time.
Smoking pot?
Yeah.
What kind of warrants?
Smoking pot, possession, and paraphernalia.
Oh, they give you paraphernalia and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, they found like a pipe or something?
Yeah, of course. At the time, it was like in 96 or something.
Really?
Well, look.
What if you're driving and they find like an empty flask in your car? Is that?
You know how difficult it is to stop, isn't it, Tedro?
Yeah. I mean, I've tried.
It is one of the more serious forms of addiction.
But my question is, if I can stop without treatment, is it possible? I mean, what's the likelihood?
That you could stop?
Without, like, treatment.
It's
correct?
very unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. And most people that stop then switch to something else, either alcohol or speed, because that part of the brain has already been sort of.
I've never been much of an alcohol fan. Didn't like the taste.
I understand, but when your brain starts
you get
pushing
used
you,
to it.
Yeah, you'll.
Well, it's nice at parties, you know.
Alcoholic mice hate alcohol.
Yeah.
But you can breed mice that become alcoholic when you trick them into drinking alcohol with sugar preparation, and then once they get conditioned properly to the alcohol, the taste is fine. They have no problem.
You know what's kind of nice? You get the alcoholic mice. They've been feeding alcohol for all the months in the lab, and you eat them. That's a good buzz.
That's nice, Adam. But
it's like when they take the watermelon, they fill it with gin.
I really want to focus on Tedro here for a second, because people doubt that this syndrome exists, and the fact is, addiction is the inability to stop. You either can stop or you can't.
Right.
And if you can't, you're addicted.
That's
if all we had to do is convince people they needed to stop an abusive drug, it'd be an easy job. But addiction is when people biologically cannot.
Right.
And addiction is severe with marijuana in some people.
Right. That's right.
And it needs treatment. And I'm telling you, the treatment, it's a very difficult disease to treat.
Yeah.
People get irritable. And be careful. In the first 6 months of marijuana abstinence, there is a very high incidence of severe depressions.
Right. Okay.
I just lost a patient to that. He killed himself.
Really?
Yep.
Sure, just when he didn't see the bill?
No. Didn't have a bill. It was just marijuana.
No bill? You do pro bono?
I do a lot of pro bono work on addiction.
Hey, when doctors work for free, is it called pro bono?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I thought that was only attorneys.
No.
It's all pro bono?
Yeah.
I do something for free, it's pro bono?
I guess.
All right, can you look into that? So what, your patient got depressed when he got off the pot and killed himself?
Yep. He didn't tell anybody he was depressed.
Really?
Yep.
Hey, the women don't kill themselves as much, do they? They drive their husbands to kill themselves, but they don't kill themselves, right?
Young males are more effective. They tend to take more violent methods when they try and or succeed more often.
How'd they kill themselves?
Usually guns and things.
Yeah. You know when people kill themselves, they jump off like a 40-story building?
Yeah.
Could you do that?
It'd be hard.
I could kill myself with carbon monoxide. No, Lord knows Zorback tried when I was 13. But I could do it with carbon monoxide. There's no way I could jump off the edge of a 40-story building. All I'd be thinking the whole time when I jump was, God damn it, I shouldn't have done that. Then I'd try to grab onto something and make an ass of myself. I'd probably land on somebody. Mark?
Yeah.
You're 35.
Yes, I am. How are you doing?
Good.
Enjoy your guys' show.
Thanks.
You guys are doing quite a service to some of these kids.
We hope so.
My question is probably for Dr. Drew. Hopefully he can answer it. I've been married for 13 years. I've got 2 children. When we had our first child, my wife had a very bad experience with her doctor. It was a female doctor. And when we went through delivery, she felt that it was a very evasive attitude that the doctor took. And after the delivery, my wife went into post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same thing that the Vietnam vets go through. She's been in therapy for nearly 4 years over it. and she has not thoroughly recovered.
What are her symptoms?
Well, just basically she's, well, it's hard to explain. She's kind of
She wakes up at night sweating, thinking she was in one of those bamboo tiger tramps with the VC yelling Mao.
It's not quite that.
Does she get panic attacks?
Yeah, and she has a lot of flashbacks. Even when she's watching something on television that, like on ER or something, and there's a birth there, I mean, she's got to leave the room.
What was so traumatic
I do that
about
myself.
I don't know exactly. My wife is a real modest person.
Yeah.
And during the delivery, there was a lot of people that we are very good friends with that are nurses and staff at the hospital, and people came in and out of the room since they just knew her so well. And apparently it had a terrible reaction.
That's right. Of course.
She's
totally exposed.
Well,
I'm not going to be there if my wife gives birth.
Also, during our second birth, we had a real good experience, had an excellent doctor.
And she still has the problem.
Very comfortable with him. About 2 weeks afterwards, she got into this real withdrawal, withdrawing from me and her feelings toward me.
And hold on. She's having postpartum depression.
Yeah.
It sounds to me more like there's a biological problem here. As much as I'm sure there are psychological issues, and I'm grateful that she's in therapy, these are situations where medication really are very important. I had a case once where a woman developed a panic disorder after pregnancy, and we had to put her on many different... I mean, the biology after pregnancy can be quite profound, and whether it's a postpartum depression or a panic...
Well, you look at it this way. Anne comes in here and spins out when she's on her period.
Yeah, imagine
the pregnancy.
Fetus.
I mean, women go insane.
And then rip it away from her.
Twice, was it twice a month now or once a month?
Anne feels like twice.
It does seem to come around more than once a month, doesn't it? It's like the cable bill. Anne's period's like the cable bill. Swear to God, you open up, how it goes, you go, Jesus Christ, I swear to God, I just paid this 3 days ago. What is this crap? They billing me twice a week now?
Yeah.
Anne's period's like that.
There's one case we put her on MAO inhibitors. I think we actually had her on a serotonin drug, an anti-anxiety medicine like Klonopin, and a beta blocker. I mean, there's multiple medicines can be used that are very effective for panic disorder. Or if there's a postpartum depression, again, which is what you're describing after the second birth, absolutely it's important to take advantage of pharmacology.
Let me read a couple more of these TV
She needs
highlights.
to see a psychiatrist, not just her therapist, I suspect.
All right, she may need to ingest something other than knowledge. And a bad sweater. So those guys are famous for that. A couple more TV show ideas sent in from young Brian Wood. This one is called Dooley. It's too bad Mike Dooley's not paying attention to the show. Look in the next room there. Ann and Sherry holding court with Officer Byrd. Lisa's on the phone, probably with a boyfriend, writing down some notes. Dooley's leaned back in the chair.
Talking to friends.
Chatting it up with a buddy of his. I yell his name. He's still chatting it up. His buddy has to smack him in the side of the head before he does.
They're still not even looking at you. Sure they even have the show on in that room?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Ann's kind of annoyed by the show. Okay. Dooley, an Irish cop, Seamus Murphy O'Doul, drinks, fights, and solves crimes. Kind of like Knight Rider, only Seamus drives a Dooley pickup truck.
There you go.
It's good to have a car as a theme sometimes.
Always.
Yeah, like they did that
Knight
with
Rider.
Stingray, Knight Rider, and then most recently Viper. And that was in the 90s. That was the Dodge Viper.
That was before the man-eating cars, whatever that... What was that one movie of the week? The Killer Tractors or something?
Well, like... Killdozer.
Killdozer.
Excellent. Hey, that's back when men could enjoy TV. Killdozer. It was a movie about a piece of heavy equipment that was possessed.
Oh, beautiful.
And it attacked a small town.
How about that?
Robert York stars. As the confused construction foreman in Killdozer. All right, let me give you one more of these, Drew. This one is called, let's see, Hunt and Peck. Did we do this one? Hunt and Peck. Two small-town attorneys solve crimes through dumb luck. Don Knotts and Tim Conway star. Yeah. These are all just as good as any of the shows that are currently on or have been on.
Or that you thought of.
Okay. Also, I have one. I don't know if I ever pitched Chad Eagleman, flight doctor. Ever pitched that one?
No.
He's a doctor who flies on planes. You know, sometimes you have to make up a job that doesn't really exist.
Right.
He's the flight doctor.
Yes.
And the beginning of each show, he's leaving another beautiful port of call. You know, he's in France. He's in Germany. He's in Spain. Always with a beautiful woman of that region.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he's in Spain, the woman has the flamenco dancer dress draped over the side of the bed. Are you with me, Drew?
Yeah,
He drives his Ferrari right out onto the tarmac and hops onto the plane, and he constantly has to cure people that are on the plane.
Sure. Happens all the time.
And he delivers this line all the time. Like there's like stuff where he's talking to the tower, and the tower's saying, "Listen, Eagleman, you work on the first class passengers first because those are bread and butter." And he comes back and says, "When I took the Hippocratic Oath, they didn't ask for a seating assignment." And he bursts through the curtains and right into coach and works on them. You know?
I know.
And then once in a while, there's a problem with, like, the hydraulics in the landing gear, and he has to do bypass. Like, you know, surgeries that would be done on a human on the airplane.
Sure, it's sort of MacGyver meets VR.
Right, in the sky, though.
There you go. That's how you'll pitch it.
Chad Eagleman. Even has the bird in there, you know? Comes from Kitty Hawk. Okay. I'm going to dream a few more and... Okay, Mike. I like Mike better when he was napping. I like the docile Mike better. All right, we'll be back. Oh, all right. Drew and I just going over the glory days. I'm really mad. You know, the curse that is my life is I really never got any women in high school, and you know, you never go back and fix that. That's a wrong that can never be righted. You know what I'm saying, Drew? You get one crack at that one, kids.
Yeah.
And that's it. You could go off. You could make $1 billion. You could be Donald Trump. You could bang every hooker and every stripper that comes within a 20-foot radius of you, but you'll never get those high school years
back.
That's
why people do that kind of stuff.
It's compensation.
Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, but, you know, I tried.
You're fat.
No, I'm not.
You're overweight.
Yeah, I know. The guys who do all this now were geeks in high school. My problem is I wasn't a geek. I just didn't meet any women. Clayton.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes you a geek. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. You're right. Clayton.
Yes.
Yeah. You're 20?
Yes, I am.
What's going on?
Well, I made a boo-boo. I slept with a good friend of mine's ex-girlfriend.
How ex?
2.5 weeks.
It's not even ex.
Yeah, I know.
It's just fighting. He's fighting with her.
Yeah. I mean, they're still apart.
Now you kind of,
Yeah, that's R.
You sealed that.
Yeah.
You should just do that. Like when you break up, you should be R. Is that the letter comes before X? Q-R. No, S-T. W.
W.
Sorry. You'd be W for like the first month, and then you go to X.
The W girlfriend.
Yeah.
So...
Hey, Drew, is it retarded that I have to go through the entire alphabet to get to a letter? Or does everyone have to do that?
Yeah, I had to think that way,
thank God. And you're a doctor. So if he finds out, is he going to kill you?
Well, he found out.
Oh, he did.
She told him. And
there must have been a reason for that.
Hold on. The reason she slept with you in the first place
to
is
be able to do that.
Don't examine why she told him.
Yeah.
If you want to examine that, examine why you nailed her.
Because she's nuts.
Oh,
that's not why I nailed her, but, you know. He found out, and he just sort of thought that we, like, you know, hooked up or made out or whatnot. And he's like, that's okay, man. You could have told me that. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then he found out that we'd slept together.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's not talking to me. He's really upset. And, I mean, I've apologized. I told him that I regretted it.
Who dumped who? Did she dump him?
It was sort of a mutual thing, from what I understand. They just were constantly making each other miserable.
All right.
And I mean, everybody had told the other one that they should break up. And
all right. Well, is she good looking?
You know.
All right. All right. Listen. Well, it's no big loss. There's nothing you can do to make it right.
Yeah.
It's just this crap happened with all my friends, except for I never got laid. But I saw it happen. And, you know, there's like a scuffle and there's some words. And then it's sort of, things just, you know, things are like, Everything's like a snow globe, you know? It gets shaken up, and it all eventually settles. Some snow globes, depending on what issue it is. There's like the I banged your wife snow globe, and then there's I banged this chick who you sort of had a crush on snow globe. And then there's many other snow globes. Some take a lot longer to settle.
Some don't settle.
Finer.
Some
much
only
finer.
settle if you change the circumstances.
Yeah, usually with friends and guy friends, they sort of get past it. Don't be surprised if there's some payback at some point.
In fact, that may be why he maintains the friendship.
And this goes to show you, no, they were miserable together. He'll be over it.
Yeah.
If they're really good friends, they'll be over it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you just let him kick your ass around a little bit.
Yeah.
But this goes to prove, guys, first off, nothing's a coincidence. When you get laid, as I was saying the other night, it's not because you made a bunch of cunning maneuvers. You know what I'm saying?
Girls made their mind up a long time before.
Yeah. She's a little wacky. This guy screwed with her a little bit. All right, she's going to screw his body. And you know what? Women know they can just do that. They could just do that. Your wife could come over here and have sex with me right now while you were sitting there.
I'm looking at you. That really pisses you off, doesn't it? You hate that. You hate that.
Well, it doesn't seem fair to me, really. It really.
Only you could do that.
Listen, it's like shaving points on a football game or something. It's really despicable. I mean, it's an inside job. She knows that she can even nail this guy's. Here's how much power women have, and you women, God bless you. You're too stupid to exercise this power. You really are. We never hear them do it, and then they tend to do it in retarded ways, like this way. They don't do it when they're in a relationship.
That's right.
But here's how much power you women have. Here's how big a stick you wield. You could have sex with your boyfriend's best friend just about any time you want. Think about that for a second.
Probably his dad.
And probably his dad. That's right. Now, if that ain't power, I don't know what is. Imagine that power.
But see, I don't
Squander.
Think women don't think about sex.
Be like
the
a
same
Merlin
way.
taking a job at the car wash. Maya.
Hello.
Hey, you're 23.
That's right.
What's going on there?
Well, it's kind of complicated. It's for both you and Drew. And when I was very young, my mom caught me masturbating.
How young?
I think it was 7, probably.
What were you? I mean,
that's not really masturbating.
Yeah, was it really masturbating?
No, trust me, it was.
Oh, really?
What were you thinking about?
I didn't really have
Thomas the
anything.
Tank Engine.
It just felt good, and it felt good until a point where there was release. And for the longest time, I didn't think that was an orgasm until I actually, became older and.
Where were you when she caught you?
I think I was in our living room.
Yeah.
And she walked in, and it was just a
stupid.
very traumatic experience for me.
What did she do?
She scolded me and told me never do this again. And I had no idea that what I was doing was wrong. I
That's
was
a shame.
actually. So the whole thing was she never took time to explain anything.
You were 7 years old?
Yeah.
Maybe, is she Jewish?
No.
No.
My family's Catholic.
Okay. Well,
But,
Jews would worry about the furniture, but I just thought, no, I was just playing a hunch, I could put the plastic slip covers on.
No, it never got messy.
No, that's a shame. It has to affect how you feel about your sexuality, I suppose.
Right. Okay. Well, let me get. I kind of had to say that in order to get to my question. For the longest time, I denied. If my friends ever asked me if we were playing games or whatever, I denied up until a year ago that I had masturbated because I had always felt ashamed about it. Well, I've had 2 serious boyfriends, and I think it took a long time for me to have an orgasm with them. And let me go back a little bit further, but
She's going to be in the womb in a minute.
no. Well, when I see pornos, I'm turned on. So when I was with my boyfriends, I would think it's like I would have to think of these pornos in order to finally reach an orgasm. So my question is this: I've analyzed all of this, and I figure that it all ties in together. And I'm wondering if this has an effect on my fear of intimacy. I think it does to a point. But the second thing is, how can I wean myself away from not having to think about pornos in order to be just so turned on by whoever I'm with?
Did anything else happen to you when you were growing up?
No. I was never molested or anything like that.
But I mean, why are you so prone to shame? And what else?
Listen.
But it seems like it was not. Wait. It seemed like it was not just that event.
Well,
though.
true. The mom did not have an aneurysm or a brain tumor that one day. This is the mom she grew up with.
That's what the point I'm trying to.
Well,
see
there was
you see that. I see that. I don't know if she sees that.
You know, she had an agenda.
Yeah,
that she felt throughout her life. She only got popped the one time for masturbating, but that was a through line.
Right.
In every contact
That's the point, is that mom had poor empathy for you as a child. She didn't really acknowledge your feelings as a separate person. She had her own thing going.
Right.
And that's really what impacts on your capacity for intimacy. I mean, certainly your sexual functioning is impaired by that one trauma because that makes you anxious and that makes it very difficult.
Yeah, her mom's going to walk through the door every time she's with
I
her
think
man.
Just keep, you're fine. Look, you just need to keep working on your relationships, find somebody that you're gratified by, you really love, and I bet the sexual functioning will take care of itself. I mean, kids touch themselves a lot. My kids just...
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
No, that's why I had to be pulled out of Little League because I was out in the outfield. Each time a ball would come, it just hit me in the forehead. And I couldn't get my hand out of my pants. I just with the glove, too. Stuff right down the front of the shorts.
It never stops. It just carries right on through life.
No, just playing second base. Guys hitting hard line drives, bounce right off my forehead.
I understand that, but that was sort of a metaphor for the rest of your life.
That's why I got into radio. I can handle my junk.
I understand.
Yeah. A little rough when I was driving the delivery truck for the liquor store, but I still worked it out. Believe you me. I figure that's why they made automatic. You think I'm kidding, don't you? Rob.
Yes.
You're 20.
Yes.
What's going on?
Okay, this is my question. Over like the last couple of years, say, I've noticed that my vision's kind of like got a little blurry at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if this could have any connection with like smoking a lot of weed and partying a lot.
Yes, I actually have had to do CAT scans on marijuana addicts who complain of that symptom. And when you do MRIs, not every time, but in a few of the cases, I didn't. One case, I wasn't even clear the person was smoking pot, but they came in with those sorts of complaints. And you do an MRI, you find brain shrinkage, and that's been my experience in that situation. And,
I didn't know what size the brain was in the first place.
There are radiographic characteristics that show that there's pieces missing.
So that's actually
really?
That's by brain shrinkage.
That is the same. I'm just telling you that's been my experience.
I euphemistically call it brain streamlining.
But I understand. I do with a lot of marijuana addicts, and it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to have this time. I certainly think it's worth looking into. There are many other things. But there are many other things that can.
Well, a lot of it is just closing your eyes and trying to look through smoke the whole time.
Look, their diabetes can cause blurry vision.
Plus, you've seen the same damn Cheech and Chong movie for the 15th time, and you start squinting. Right, Drew?
No.
All right, listen, you genius. Stop smoking so much weed.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think I smoke as much as like a lot of my friends do.
Well, yeah, but you're hanging out with a Rastafarian band. How much weed do you smoke?
Well, I kind of go through phases. See, like there'll be times when it's like every day, all the time, and then I like won't smoke
twice
for
a day. Oh, you won't smoke for a month?
Yeah, and then.
When's the last time you didn't smoke for a month?
Probably 6 or 8 months ago.
Really? All right, cut down on it, would you? Maybe it's affecting your eyesight, maybe it isn't.
Are there other side effects besides like the memory stuff?
Are there side effects? Yes. Again, there's evidence is beginning to come in about how it changes the brain anatomy and function. And yes, difficult memory, mood difficulties, irritability. The main problem is they've just shown recently that there is shrinkage of the right frontal lobe, particularly in young males who smoke pot, and it impairs their ability to develop their personality and to go through the usual developmental stages of adolescence. So it creates sort of emotional.
How come women's brains don't shrink?
Yeah, I don't know.
That area is just small in the first place on women. Do women have a frontal lobe?
Yeah, it's just not been shown yet, not been proven.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. I tend to see much more consequences as a male. I got to admit it. It's very relatively unusual for me to see significant consequences in female.
There are women who toke out, but it's definitely a more male thing.
I've treated more male addicts for marijuana, that's for sure.
Are there just as many women alcoholics as there are male alcoholics?
Less.
Slightly?
Yeah.
Marginally?
Debate about it, but it seems to be less.
Okay,
Maybe-
but it's not...
Maybe 40%.
I mean, I know a lot of guys and have always known a lot of guys who had their fair share of momentum with the hemp.
Yeah.
I've known a few women who smoke some weed too, but it never really seemed to affect them in the same way. They didn't quite smoke as much, and it wasn't as big a deal.
It tends not to be as much of a preoccupation with them. At least again, this is my clinical experience of dealing with... I may have a selected population, I don't know.
Did you say population?
Population, yes.
Okay. Hey, it's Loveline. Listen, I don't want to piss off producer Ann, but don't turn off the radio, but go turn on MTV if we're in the right time zone and the show's on, and then call us up and tell us
who the guest is.
What the band is on the show. And
I just saw a picture, they flashed on Diane when... where's Diane been?
Diane Farr?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I haven't seen her since the day we walked out of the studio.
I nailed her about a week after we broke.
Oh, good. Well, that's... I miss Diane.
Yeah, she's nice. No, I ran into her somewhere. Oh, at a restaurant. She's with her lesbian partner. Oh, that's right.
Really? I was learning about
the
her.
Dandy Warhols.
There you go.
Who knew that? Oh, did they flash it?
Yeah.
The Dandy Warhols. Yeah, okay. All right.
We don't need people to call in then.
No, okay. Don't call in. Unless it's about some medical concern. Janet.
Yeah.
Hey, you're 24.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, I'm kind of ashamed of this, but you know how you were talking about with the whole abortion thing and whatnot, you were talking about casual intercourse?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was kind of my thing a few years back, and I was sleeping with two guys and got pregnant, and I had the baby. She's a year, and I don't know who the father is. And now I'm starting to get a little concerned because, you know, I've changed my life around, and I'm, you know, not this, I'm in a monogamous relationship now. But
what do you think? What do you think it was all about when you were sleeping around casually? What was that?
Well, I'd been in a long-term relationship beforehand, and the person had cheated on me, and then I just kind of went wild and, you know.
Well, it's like, hey, how can you ever get cheated on when you're cheating at the time?
Right.
There you go.
Was one of the guys Samoan?
No.
No. Eskimo?
No.
No. Black?
No.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm out of answers. I guess I got to get a DNA test, Drew?
If you can get the fathers to comply.
See, that's
Do either one of the guys know?
one of them knows, but he hasn't talked to me from before I even had her.
Yeah, guys are great that way, aren't they?
Yeah,
You
really.
actually have a one of them running around on the planet, not really concerned about that.
I know.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Another good argument for abortion, by the way.
So anyhow, now I'm really...
I guess we should be relieved. Oh, hold on a second. Drew? I think from an evolutionary standpoint, I think guys are going to start eating their children in about 100 years. You know what I
That'll
mean?
take care of it, you mean?
We're at the point where it's either neglect or just out-and-out sexual or physical abuse. But I think we are coming to the day where they're just going to eat them, and possibly the afterbirth.
I think this child that was left out on the running trail, I can't imagine a woman putting it out there. I'm sure the guy just took it out there for her. Really?
What do you think? Well, I'm sure she had a hand in it, but yeah, I'm sure. Well, he buried it. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, they found a kid who was half buried out on a trail somewhere. Thank God people jog. Anyway, well, Janet, how old's your child now?
She's 1.
And this has never been a big concern of yours to find out who the father was?
Well, now it is because, I mean, soon she's going to want to know, you know, and that's why I'm concerned. I don't personally care, like, as far as child support. I have a good job, but I'm concerned for her. I want her to know who her father is.
Don't you think the guys kind of deserve to know, too? I mean, maybe one of the guys wants to belly up to the bar.
That's true, too, and I'm kind of a chicken.
Well, now it's a little late, yeah.
I know. And then I thought, well, maybe she looked like one of them, but she looks like me. So,
yeah, that's fine.
Is there a way you can tell by, like, the blood type, though? I'm O negative and she's A positive. Is there a way to know?
Yeah, that makes it. If one of them is, we have to be able to detect the blood types of both of them, though.
Uh-huh.
To know which is, if the other guy's O, then that's it. It's the A or AB guy.
Right. So
Say that again, Drew.
The father has to be A or AB.
A or AB? All right.
How many blood types are there? Give us the basic ones.
A, B, AB, and O.
Well, what's the
there's
rarest?
lots of... No, common. AB is the least common.
Uh-huh. But you cannot start a new blood. You have to be at least one of your parents.
Yes.
If your dad's A and your mom's B, you have to be either A or B.
Or
you
AB.
can't be O.
You can be AB.
But you can't be O.
Yeah, you can be O. Here's the gene. Let me show you.
All right, but Drew, how can you figure this out then?
Because the baby's A. Baby's not
baby's
O.
A?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you can be this A or this A.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be this B.
This is the best radio
this
ever.
B. So it could be this and this to get...
We should really get a ventriloquist to explain this, and that would be the greatest radio. Drew's writing it down. Listen, it wasn't exciting to watch Drew write that. You didn't miss anything. David.
Yeah?
What's going on, David?
Yeah, I got a little problem here.
Yeah.
All right, now. Here, it's kind of embarrassing. I don't know how quite to say.
How old are you, David?
Me, I'm 19.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now. Anytime I ejaculate, I look in my little magazine and whatnot.
What year were you born, David?
Me, 79.
All right.
Like taters?
What's that?
Say the word vagina.
Vagina?
Okay.
Okay.
Use it in a sentence, please.
Why is that?
Just go ahead, David. So what happens after you ejaculate?
All right, now, it'll leave like a rash on my leg or my chest or wherever it hits.
A rash?
Yeah, a rash.
What does the rash look like?
Little red bumps. Now, what would cause that?
I have no clue, frankly.
It's quite...
It's quite what?
I don't know. You just cut them off.
Yeah.
That's peculiar. That is really peculiar. I don't know.
Do you want to ask him some more questions?
Yeah.
You do? All right. Make them quick.
Any other symptoms, David?
No, that'd be about it.
You don't have any pain or burning or anything like that?
No, it itches a little there.
Itches there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if the psych...
Anywhere the sperm hits leaves a rash?
I don't know. I didn't try him at my face or not.
Red dots.
Oh, would you shut up? He's BSing.
You think?
I asked him anywhere the sperm hits, it leaves a red dot, it leaves a rash, and he said, I don't know, I didn't try to aim it at my face.
Yeah.
Guys come up with screwball answers like that. Screw them. All right, well, what should he do anyway?
I would,
Get a workup?
Yeah, somebody's got to see the rash.
I mean, when you go to one of those dermatologists or one of those allergesiologists, that's a good word.
Allergist?
Yeah, I just made it sound even better.
Yes, indeed.
And they have those little swatches with the, I don't know what they have, like cat dander on it and all that stuff.
Right.
They have human sperm on those?
No.
It might be fun to work one of those in and then explain to them. That was sperm. You know?
Ooh, you're very allergic.
Hey, Drew, I was talking to some guys today.
Yeah.
Turns out it's about 50-50 on whether you'd want to be peed on or spat on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I explained to them that Drew is a physician. Explained that urine is much more sterile than mucus is.
Yep.
I'd rather be spat on. Peed on. And plus, I have quite extensive experience with being urinated on, too. It's really no big deal. It's almost a sort of ritualistic rite of passage, if you ask me.
That was a weekly passage you went through.
Oh, for Christ's sake, I went to my, speaking about reunions, I went to my 10-year reunion 5 years ago. Yeah, my buddy Ray peed on me in the bathroom.
He on this stick for me. How long did it take you guys to go from urinating on one another to actually using the other excrements?
Number 2?
Yeah. Year?
Well, let me explain something, Drew. That wasn't an everyday.
I understand, but how long did it take you to graduate to that occasional experience?
Well, I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Chris was in the bathroom. We had cut like fourth period.
How old were you?
17, 16 maybe, high school. Chris had to make a little run to the boys' room.
Yeah.
He was sitting down on the pot, one of the stalls. I was standing outside of the bathroom. Ray said, I'm going to go in there and give him a little working over. I said, I'm not going in there. Good luck. Because when you don't have a full bladder and you get involved with one of these battles, you can go from spectator to victim very quickly, in a heartbeat. because you know how it is when there's three guys?
Yeah.
One guy's the victim, and tell the guy's the victim can talk the guys victimizing him into victimizing you.
Joining up, yes.
Right, you go, they're doing
Alliances,
it, and they yell,
alliances.
let's get at him, and then next thing you know, they both look at you, and now you're getting whizzed on.
Right.
So this has happened way too many times, so I said, I'm staying out. So I stood out in the hallway, and I heard Ray go in to the bathroom, and then he kicked the stall door open. Chris was on the pot doing his business, and then I heard Chris sort of pleading at some point, where it said, no, please. And then the next words out of Chris's mouth was, my eye, it's burning. So Ray had let loose on Chris. And then I heard Ray's maniacal laughter and Chris shrieks of horror, but I still was not going in there. And then I heard Ray all of a sudden yell, what are you doing? Put that down. Because it's all the man could... You become like an animal when you're cornered that way. I mean, what can you do? The man had no recourse but to reach down into the toilet and grab whatever he had for breakfast. And then I heard Ray yell, and then I heard what sounded like a body hit some tile, which was Ray trying to get out of there and slipping on the tile floor and going down. And then I heard a splat, and then and Ray came scrambling out of the place, and I took off down the hall because, again, I'd gotten in trouble before with this kind of thing.
So he's mad at you for not coming in and helping him.
That's just where the line got crossed.
I see.
That is the day. It was that moment when number
suddenly
two.
That became like the movement of the moment, as it were.
It sort of is like this. When you have war, even though you're trying to kill the other guy, there's the Geneva Convention. And use conventional weapons.
Yes.
Like even when we went to Iraq, we didn't use any nuclear weapons.
Sometimes,
Lord knows we've had these things for 50 years.
Sometimes the guerrilla warfare opens up.
But sometimes, when you're looking at a beach invasion and many, many Marines dying, then it's time to get the Enola Gay out. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, Drew. We'll be back.
Oh, my God, the humanity.
Oh, that was good. All right. Well, we've plumb out a show.
We're
I want to give some quick thanks before we'll talk about it. We'll talk about Monday. Quick thanks. I want to thank the beautiful Lisa and the beautiful Sherry. And let me say something about these two girls. I swear to God, their job is 10 times harder than ours. They get here earlier than we do. They leave much after we leave. And all they do is talk to you idiots all night and then type your problems into a computer that we gleefully read every night. But I swear to God, their job is twice as hard. They don't get paid enough. I want to give them some money.
Tonight
let's give them some money.
Sure. Tonight they dealt
I'm serious.
Okay.
Not now, but I'm serious. We should do this.
Tonight they dealt with the police
complaining
and all
about
that.
Oh yeah, beautiful. Anne's okay. And engineer Mike. No. Producer Ann works her ass off for the show too, and of course engineer Mike, who has to endure with the slings and the arrows.